What if I told you that the world's most powerful empire became rich from a trade so brutal that millions never survived it and then suddenly decided to end it? Why did Britain, the nation that dominated the slave trade, turn against the very system that made many of its merchants wealthy? The answer is more shocking than you think. Before we continue, kindly like, share, and follow for more fascinating history stories that changed the world forever. For over 200 years, Britain was one of the biggest players in the transatlantic slave trade. Ships sailed from British ports carrying goods to Africa, where enslaved people were bought and forced onto overcrowded ships bound for the Americas. The profits were enormous. Sugar, cotton, and tobacco flowed back to Britain, helping fuel the rise of the British Empire. To many powerful businessmen and politicians, slavery wasn't just a system, it was an industry worth fortunes. But beneath the wealth was unimaginable suffering. As stories of the horrors spread, a growing movement began to challenge the trade. Activists, religious groups, former enslaved people, and politicians started exposing what was really happening across the Atlantic. One of the most powerful voices was that of former enslaved Africans who described the brutal realities of captivity and forced labor. Their testimonies shocked the public and sparked fierce debates across Britain. Yet ending the trade would not be easy. The slave trade was deeply connected to Britain's economy. Powerful interests fought back, arguing that abolishing it would damage the nation and weaken the empire. For years, Parliament was locked in bitter arguments. Then, in 1807, after decades of campaigning, Britain passed the Slave Trade Act. The law made it illegal for British ships to participate in the slave trade. But the story didn't end there. Although the trade was banned, slavery itself still existed in many British territories. Thousands remained enslaved. It would take another 26 years of struggle before the Slavery Abolition Act of 1833 finally began the process of ending slavery across most of the British Empire. Even then, freedom came slowly, and many former slave owners received compensation while the formerly enslaved received nothing. The end of the British slave trade remains one of history's most important turning points, a story of wealth, power, resistance, and a long fight for human freedom. But here's the question. Do you think Britain ended the slave trade mainly because of moral pressure or because slavery was becoming less profitable for the empire? Let us know in the comments. Your answer might be more controversial than you think.